welcome to Gardening Through the Seasons. I'm Lelia Kelly, Consumer Horticulture Specialist with Mississippi State University Extension Service, and I'm here on the Mississippi State campus today, and we're going to be learning all about mulches and the different kinds of mulches that the campus landscape people use in their planting areas here on campus. Now, mulching is one of the best things that we can do in our home landscapes, and we can take a clue from nature, because as long as there has been trees and plants, there has been plant debris falling from these down to the forest floor. And you have leaves, we have needles, and other plant debris that falls and forms a protective layer over the soil. And we don't see unprotected soil usually in the environment unless it's really inhospitable places like mountaintops, deserts, or eroded areas. So first, take advantage of any naturally mulched areas in your landscape and take a break from the rake. You don't have to rake this stuff up. Let it lay there, and if it bothers you that it looks a little bit unkept or it doesn't suit your style, you can always go back and top dress with something like pine straw or some other mulch that maybe will look a little bit more attractive to you. Why is mulching plants such a good thing to do? Well, let's count the reasons. First, it helps to control weeds. Second, it retains moisture in the soil. Third, it helps moderate the fluctuations in soil temperature. It can reduce erosion and runoff. It also reduces soil splashing, which prevents those soil-borne diseases from splashing back onto the plant. And if you use an organic mulch, it improves the soil's condition as they decompose, and it adds nutrients. It also makes your garden and landscape maintenance easier. And of course, lastly, it looks attractive and it's neat. Trying to decide what kind of mulch to use is a common question for homeowners, but it's a lot easier than you think, because you need to consider things like how pretty it is, the durability, and more important than that, y'all, the availability and the cost. So basically what you want is something that's locally available, it meets your needs, and it's pretty, and it's a reasonable cost that you can get it at a nice price. Now the other thing is, if you have a big area to mulch, you need to probably look at the option of getting it in bulk. Now there's a lot of common mulches out there. You got a lot of choices. You've got shredded hardwood bark, which is what this is. You have pine mulch, pine needle mulch, and then you have the colored mulches, so there's a lot of options out there. But here at Mississippi State, they use a combination, and here to tell us about that is Rob Rice, the campus horticulturalist.
Hey, Leah.
Hey, Rob.
I appreciate that. Yeah, here on our campus, we mainly just use two mulches. This shredded hardwood that you see, through the years, we've determined that it really is better on an initial planting because it tends to break down and improve the soil, we think, a little bit faster and maybe a little bit better than the pine straw. And we'll come back when this needs replenishing, and we'll replenish it with pine straw.
So you top dress with
we'll
pine straw?
We'll top dress with pine straw. We just like the way it looks, and it's easy to use. We don't have to have the tractor to load it and that sort of thing.
So why do you use these particular mulches?
Well, they're locally available.
They're what you can get, right?
Yeah, and they do what we want them to do. That's exactly right.
Which is a good reason to use them, right?
Absolutely.
How deep do you apply the mulch?
Well, we like, once it's compacted down and settled down, we like for it to end up being about maybe 2 to 3 inches. Well, we think that's plenty.
And around the trees and things now, does that raise a question?
It does.
Something maybe we need to talk about?
Yes, it does. I get a lot of calls and comments from people about why do we pile mulch up around our trees? Well, really we don't. On these soils here in Octavia County, they're heavy clay soils. They don't drain well, so we plant our trees a little higher.
So you kind of mound them up.
We mound them up, and that way the new roots can get the air exchange that they need. And then when we do put our 2 to 3 inches of mulch on there, it actually looks like the mulch is piled up like a big anthill.
And that is a common mistake, though, but that homeowners make, and they'll pile it up around the trunk. And the reason that's not a good thing is it's the same result as if you put that plant too deep in the ground, and then you've got bark and stem tissue that's below grade. And when you do that, you're cutting off gas and air exchange, and then you've got a perfect environment for diseases and insect damage. And not only that, when you pile that mulch up around those stems and trunks, you're creating a perfect little haven for those little short-tailed mice called
We don't want
voles.
those, yeah.
To chew around on
Yeah,
the bark, you know.
right.
So that's something that you really should not do, is to pile any mulch up around the trunk or the stems, and y'all don't do that.
We don't, that's right.
Yeah. And to find out more information about mulches in the landscape, you can pick up publication 2301, which is called Mulches in the Landscape, from the County Extension Office, or you can download it directly from the MSU Cares website. Rob, thanks for being with us today.
It's been my pleasure. Thank you.
I'm Lelia Kelly, and this has been Gardening Through the Seasons.